Well, the trade deadline dust is settling. Swilly Sports is here with us, and we're live talking about what the Angels did do, but more importantly, what they didn't do, or at least haven't done yet. It's time to get locked on with Mike and John, and this is Locked On Angels.
You are Locked On Angels, your daily Los Angeles Angels podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
On Angels, your deadline listen of the day. You can find us anywhere you get your podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and SiriusXM by searching Locked On Angels. If you want to give back for all the Super Halo Bros content, you can do so by leaving us a rate and review on Apple Podcasts. Hit that thumbs up button if you're watching on YouTube, and make sure that you're subscribed if you're not subscribed already. And we'd love for you to get into the comments. We got live comments going right now. First, let me shout out today's sponsor. It's brought to you by PrizePicks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. You can go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB and use the code all lowercase LockedOnMLB for a first deposit match of up to $100. Thanks for being here with us, everybody. My name is John, and usually my brother Mike is here with us, but today we've got Miss Sister, Halo Sister, Swilly Sports. How are you?
I'm so good. How are you, John? How are you?
1 second. Look, we're sitting here with 3 minutes left of this trade deadline. We're waiting for the dust to settle, and so far, no moves from the Halos today. And it's just, are we shocked? Are we not shocked? What do you say?
I think because we started off so strong with the SD trade, my expectations kind of were inflated a bit after that. But, seeing that we're 3 minutes away, I'm not extremely surprised.
Yeah, this is getting pretty iffy here because we're sitting here waiting for any sign of life from Perry Minasian, the Angels, and so far all we heard today was that Anthony Rendon is going back on the IL. If the trade deadline is defined by Anthony Rendon going back on the injured list, that is the epitome of Artie's Angels, isn't it?
It looked like that's literally what I tweeted. I was like, this is an Angels deadline move if I've ever seen one. Like, happy for Michael Stefanik that he's going to get another chance up here, but again, can't say I'm surprised.
Seeing him out of the Bees lineup, I thought, okay, maybe some middle infield stuff is going on. This is interesting.
Maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, so this is great too. We've got tons of everydayers in the chat. See all of you. We've got love this one. Bryce Long, Artie gonna Artie, right? That's exactly how it feels right now.
Sounds about right.
Let me ask you, do you think, is this going back to Artie Moreno? Is this Perry Minasian asleep at the wheel? What do you say?
I don't think it's Perry. I really don't. I have always kind of been on the it always goes back to Artie train. I mean, Artie is such an involved owner, and we don't see that a lot in professional sports, but I think that Artie thinks that we can compete soon, and I don't know. I really do think Perry's trade with Esty was great. Like and we'll talk about it, but that trade was fantastic. I'm really excited about the two arms that we got. So I really don't think it's Perry.
Yeah, at this point, I mean, because that seemed like the floodgates were going to open. Hey, you got this expiring deal, you got this expiring contract for one of the best relievers who's available, and I thought that would certainly lead to more activity on the trade deadline. By the way, people are very happy that you're here. Connor S says, we believe in Swilly. We just got this news. Soccer fan 123, Jack Flaherty to the Dodgers. We also just saw before we came on live, Garrett Crochet is not getting traded. Does that open the door for maybe Tyler Anderson going somewhere, or do you think they're going to hang on to him?
I mean, at this point, I think they're going to hang on to him. I mean, I sort of get it because, like, who do we have in our rotation without Anderson? And we have him for another year. So, like, I understand it from that standpoint, but at the same time, like, he's been so good, and
Oh,
we should. Like, I don't know. I don't get it.
Robert Murray tweets, the Rays acquire Dylan Carlson. So much for the Angels and Nationals being in on that one as well. Yep. That would have been an interesting one considering Carlson has had a lot of injury history. Here we go. Luis Garcia.
Oh, we got one.
From the Angels to the Red Sox. We're going to wait on the deal here. So look, we all know that things end 3 p.m. Pacific time, but there is a lot of dust to be settled, which is why I wanted to have this at 2:55. And so for the near 200 of you that are online right now, you guys are awesome. This is fantastic. Oh, Easton, I should have credited Easton Dutton. Got it. Going to the Red Sox. I love that. I love that. So, yeah, at this point, we really need at least the expiring deals to be moved. And if not, then this is a total disaster, is it not?
Yeah, I mean, I think it is. We have so many tradable pieces at this point, and I just I think it's a failure. I don't know. We're not going to compete next year. Like, we're just not. Maybe not even the next year. So I for sure think it'll be a failure.
Well,
I'm excited to see what we get though for Garcia.
You mentioned the rotation and the we talked about this on a show that we put out late last night. But with Tyler Anderson sticking around, if that's what they're going to be doing, I mean, they've got Davis Daniel, they've got Carson Fulmer, they've got Kenny Rosenberg. Who did they just bring in AAA? The crazy windup. I can't think of his name right now. Somebody in the comments help me out.
Oh, yeah, help, please.
He would have been great 10 years ago, but not recently. But
Johnny Cueto.
Mario says Mike Frisch traded to Locked On Astros. Yeah, that's where Mike is today.
Mike, no.
Don't leave us, Mike. Don't leave us. Yeah, we're sitting here refreshing. Jack Flaherty's to the Dodgers, Dylan Carlson to the Rays. We're waiting on the return for Luis Garcia to the Red Sox. I like this thought from Brian Caprino. Maybe, just maybe, already said, hold on, because he's selling. Oh my gosh. Could you imagine?
Brian, don't do that to me, man. I can't take another. I can't take more hope on that.
Yeah, we've got a little bit of time for the dust to settle. So I'm hoping that by the time we, get to our third segment, that there's a little bit more news that we can give you. All right, let's see. Ken Rosenthal, he's tweeting. I hate how these guys just kind of confirm what somebody else said. You probably hear me clicking over on the other side, but it's like, a tweet from Ken, and it's he's just saying that Passan was on it first.
Right. So, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, this has just been such a sleeper of a deadline. Like I said, I thought the Carlos Estévez trade was going to open up the floodgates and allow for the Angels to do the right thing here. And they've got so many expiring deals. Matt Moore, Brandon Drury, right? They've got so many of these deals. Kevin Pillar, like, he should be back with the Braves. Like, the Braves should be calling up Perry Minasian and making that deal done. So I don't know. I mean, we're kind of in this limbo spot where it's like, okay, the dust is settling. Is there going to be more news as these things come out? Somebody mentioned, I'm trying to find the comment here, but essentially it was, Logan O'Hoppe was at the very last minute. Oh, here we go. Yeah. RT Caliber someone said O'Hoppe happened at the deadline. And that's true. So the Angels are just so great at keeping us in limbo and making us wait, aren't they?
Right. Exactly. I mean, we'll see. Something else happens, great, but I don't know. I don't have a great feeling. Like, there's so many other names that have already been traded that kind of fit similar profiles to who we were looking to trade.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't really see it. The only one that I'm still kind of hoping for maybe is Tyler Anderson, but
yeah. And I think about, like, the fact that we're watching all of these trades go down today, and there's so many relievers getting passed around like crazy. And we all know the Angels have a stockpile there. Yeah. And so it's unfortunate that that's not happening at the moment, other than this Luis Garcia deal. We got a question here. Norin Rands, why do the Angels pick up Bowman if they were not going to trade for an outfielder? Bowman's actually a relief pitcher. So when they did pick up Bowman, I thought maybe the Luis Garcia deal was happening. And so it seems like that is going to be the case. So, they picked up somebody off the waivers and that's another body to replace the good body that you just dealt over to the Red Sox here. So, still refreshing over here. How about you?
Yeah, same here. I don't know. I'm starting to think that maybe some of our asking prices were too high. Like I'm thinking, so IKF went to the Pirates, right? Like to me, like that move makes sense for the Pirates. I guess I can see it, but like Renegifo is a better version of IKF.
Oh,
and Renegifo is younger and has more pop and like all these things. So like I'm just wondering if maybe our asking prices have just been too high. And they feel like with some of these guys, well, if we're not going to get a haul for somebody like Ward or somebody like Renegifo, then we would rather keep them around and use them as pieces when we build around like O'Hoppe and Neto and stuff like that. Otherwise, I don't know. Like I don't know. I'm at a loss of words.
Yeah. And if they're not going to trade Renegifo, like Jonathan said here, hey, great name, Jonathan. Extend Renegifo. If that's not in the cards for the Angels right now, then I don't know what they're doing, because you get prime ages 27 to at least 32 if you offer him an extension. And we've gone through it thick and thin with Renegifo. So, I mean, it just makes sense to get that done and make it happen. And so, yeah, just very unfortunate. We're going to come back with all of your thoughts, some of your questions. We're going to try to give you a little bit more insight into the players that the Angels did get for Carlos Estévez. And hopefully we'll get an answer on who the Angels got in return for Luis Garcia. We're going to get to all of that coming right up. Today's show is brought to you by our friends at PrizePicks. PrizePicks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with more than 5 million members. It's the most fun, exciting way to get in on all the action while you watch your favorite sports and your favorite players. You can get in on the excitement and win up to 100 times your cash with the summer games on PrizePicks. With PrizePicks, you could turn $10 into $1,000 while watching Team USA rack up the golds all summer long. You can make PrizePicks lineups of players across basketball, soccer, tennis, golf, and more in as little as 60 seconds. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and you're locked in. So download the app today. Enter our promo code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match of up to $100. Again, that's code LOCKEDONMLB, all one word, all lowercase, and get that first deposit match of up to $100. PrizePicks, so much fun. Join today. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. This is the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. And everydayers, after you're done here, head on over to Locked On Sports Today. It's a free 24/7 sports streaming channel programmed just for you to bring you the biggest stories across the sports world. Of course, they're going to have a ton of news on the trade deadline. So if you're interested in what's going on around the league, check it out. It's streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. Speaking of your team every day, the Angels are back at it tonight, 6:38 Pacific time. You can catch every pitch of the Angels' hometown broadcast on SiriusXM with the SXM app. Just search Angels. Okay, Swilly, so we did get the Carlos Estévez trade. Of course, the Angels were able to get 2 top 10 prospects from the Phillies, which is like, we could have done so much more. We could have had so much more. Like, if that's what they're getting for Carlos Estévez, like, there's so much more to be done, even if it was a bag of peanuts, right? But Aaron Layton from Just Baseball, he had some pretty great breakdowns of George Klassen. He had some great breakdowns of Samuel Algadari. So let me go through what he had to say. He said, another arm that struggled with command in college, but was selected off of his stuff and found the zone as a pro. His fastball averages 97 miles an hour with late arm side run that plays up from his slot, plus power curve at 86 mile an hour. You like that. And a plus cutter at 90 miles an hour. Get this, an on-base average of .008 .288 against those two pitches. He's
Is that
deceptive.
good?
That's fantastic. He's keeping people off base. You know this. You're just playing with me. There's a video that he posted, and in the video, he said the vantage point helps explain why opponents are 9 for 102 with 55 strikeouts against Clausen's breaking balls this year. So question for you, Swilly, do we have confidence that the Angels can help Clausen find his command? What do you say?
I think if you would have asked me last year, I would have said no.
Mm-hmm.
But I do feel a bit more confident now. And really that's just based off of what we've seen with Ben Joyce. And I know Ben Joyce has added more pitches to his arsenal, so that's a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
But his command
it's development, right? Like
right.
development happening. Yeah,
exactly. And I know that they're kind of two different pitchers, but they both have good / fast stuff that struggled with command. And we've seen Ben Joyce just take leaps, especially in the last month and a half, 6-7 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So I do feel a bit more confident. I am curious to see how long he will stay, because he's in high A, right? That's where he got assigned.
Yeah. He got assigned to high A, and then actually, wait, no, I think Clausen. Yeah, Clausen was high A. Algaderi was low A.
Double A.
Yeah, double A. Sorry. Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I feel more confident now than I think I would have 12 months ago. How about you?
To me, I think the big question is like Detmers has trouble with command.
Yeah.
And so for him to go down to AAA and try to find that is still kind of a question mark. So
True.
I think development is happening, but getting him right and hitting the zone, that's going to be the biggest thing. And apparently the Angels have confidence in themselves to be able to do that. Yeah. We'll see what happens. Let me talk about Samuel Algaderi, also from Aram Layton. He said he's a southpaw who picks up more whiff than his stuff may imply. He's picked up a 34% K rate this season with an on-base average of 187. Fastball's 92-93, but plays well at the top of the zone where he gets a 32% chase. Above average slider, tunnels well off with a decent changeup as well. So it sounds to me like Algaderi is a location guy. He's effective when he's landing his pitches well. Reminds me of my favorite player of all time, Jared Weaver, who just had such impeccable command. And so to see Algaderi is that kind of pitcher who lives and dies by that must be what the Angels are looking for. So an effective pitcher when he lands his pitches. What are your thoughts here?
I love it. I think that he'll make a really great complement in a rotation to maybe somebody like a Jose Soriano, who's gas and is a right-handed pitcher. So I think it's great. I mean, I am also on the train of I think location is really important. And you know what? It doesn't matter if you throw a fastball 92-93 if you have pitches complementing that are like low 80s, that 92 fastball is going to look like it's 102. So if you're locating, great. I think that that's awesome. I'm happy about this. And I think that the outlook on both of these guys is that Samuel should stay a starter, whereas Clausen probably has more relief upside.
Yeah. A little bit more reliever risk, which, it's everybody has reliever risk. I think even like Caden Dana there for a while, and a lot of the guys in this draft as well. So
yes,
interesting. So let's go back to the timeline here. We're looking at everything that's going down. So we've got some comments saying that we've got Mark Canha headed to the Giants. So there's an outfielder that we could have traded. We've got Eric Silva's headed from the Giants to the Tigers. Austin Slater's been traded from the Reds to the Orioles. What are the Orioles doing? They just got Eloy. They're getting Austin Slater. They just traded away Austin Hayes. So that's interesting.
Yeah, the Austin Hayes one was interesting, but
he figured to be, I guess maybe there was a block spot, but now it seems like they're reloading on outfielders. I imagine Eloy might be more of a DH type, so that should be interesting as well. So we're still waiting on what's becoming of this Luis Garcia trade, still refreshing over here, but it's it's a quiet day. And I actually do love this question here. Where did it go?
I'm seeing 3 AAA players from the Red Sox, but no names yet. So we'll see.
3 AAA guys means that they've got to be close to ready. And 3 for 1. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just something that somebody retweeted on my timeline.
Okay.
Beyond the Halo retweeted it, so I trust that.
I love this question, Luke Miller. Is it fair to assume that Anderson being traded in the offseason rather than the deadline would bring in more value? What do you think, Swilly?
I would say no, only because I think the starting pitcher market, pitching in general, during this trade deadline has been so
insane
friendly. So I don't know. I mean, I think there's still value for him there, but I think the bulk of the value would have been during the trade deadline.
Yeah, when you consider what Kikuchi was able to get, I mean, obviously Flaherty was a more valuable piece, but that's going to be interesting to see what the Dodgers got here. I'm seeing Thyron Liranzo and Trey Sweeney going back to the Tigers in that deal. Yeah, I mean, look, it's 16 after 3, so 16 minutes after the deadline here, but there's still some dust to be settled and hoping that something else can take place. Now Easton Dutton is bringing up a good point. They got Norby for Tanner Scott. Imagine what we would have gotten for TA. I wanted Connor Norby so bad. The Marlins.
That would have been. The Marlins
won the trade deadline, didn't they?
The Marlins cooked. They did so great. I mean, they did. They had a great deadline.
Yeah,
good for them.
Absolutely. Colin Choi. Don't know if this question was asked. It was, but thank you for bringing it up again. Does GMPM get retained, or does the whole plan go boom while Artie does Artie things? I feel like I wouldn't want to be here if Artie Moreno tied my hands at this deadline where you have so much to give away. I'd be furious. I wouldn't want to come back to this organization if that's the situation. And I don't have any insight into whether that's what happened or not, but history does show that if there's going to be anything the Angels shouldn't do and then they do it, or vice versa, it's because Artie Moreno has had his hands on things. So I have to believe that Perry Minasian wanted to do the right thing here. Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't want to come back. I mean, his contract's up at the end of the season and they've yet to offer him an extension. He finally got his manager in Ron Washington, finally got to pick his manager. But yeah, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. Here's another relief pitcher, Gregory Soto from the Phillies to the Orioles. So there's another opportunity that the Angels might have missed out on. And it's pretty sad. But what do you think about GMPM? Does he get an extension? Does he go? What do you think? Because I think if this were me, I'd want to leave.
Yeah, I don't see him being here next season, which really sucks because I really have been kind of like a Perry believer for most of the time that he's been here. That's just me personally. I really, really, really think that Artie is the one that just ties his hands most of the time. I do still think that maybe there were some high asking prices, but I could very easily see Artie not wanting to move guys like Ward and Renegifo. And why would you want to come back? I mean, why would you want to? And I really thought that if Perry had a really, really good deadline, then he would have also been offered an extension.
Right.
But this was not a good trade deadline. So like I could either see him not wanting to come back or them not offering. Like, what has he done? I mean, well, okay, I take that back. There's been a few things that he's done. You have Neto and Ohapi and stuff like that, which is why I've been a Perry believer. But
sure.
I don't know. I don't see it.
It seems like at the major league level, he's not had a ton of success.
Yeah.
But in terms of trying to turn things around in the minor leagues, I always say something is better than nothing. And from the Billy Epler years to the DePoto years, we've just had so much of nothing. And so for there to be something at this point has been really good. We're going to get to more of your comments. We're going to wrap up in the next segment. We'll talk about where we go from here. We'll get to more of your comments in just a minute. Today's show is brought to you by our friends at SupplyHouse. You can order supplies from the website that's made for the skilled trades. You can find thousands of parts from hundreds of brands in just a couple clicks at SupplyHouse.com. SupplyHouse.com gives you 24/7 access to a huge selection of plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies. Plus, you can get fast delivery from anywhere in the United States. And if you need help with an order, they have industry-leading after-sales service from their friendly and knowledgeable customer support team. And you can talk to a real person every single time. How about that? That's rare these days. And there's great news for plumbers, technicians, and contractors. Being a pro has its perks. Trade industry professionals can join their free Trade Master program for free shipping and serious discounts on every order. Over 100,000 pros already trust the Trade Master program to deliver the best results. You can apply for your membership today and get a competitive edge on every order at supplyhouse.com/TM. So save time and money when you order online from supplyhouse.com. Order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies, and so much more from supplyhouse.com. Real people, real service. Thanks for being here with us, guys. It's so great to be live with you as this trade deadline is coming to a close. Obviously, there's still more to be done, but Swilly, Michael Huntley of the Sporting Tribune, who covers the Angels, just said that Perry Minasian is addressing the media in a few minutes. So this should get interesting here. So I think what we'll do is this, friends. We will do our last segment for our regular show. We'll end the show, quote unquote, and then Swilly, if you're willing to stay on and maybe see what is said, and we'll have a little bonus content. So if you guys want to stick around as well, but for the sake of editing this and getting it up for Wednesday and also for the audio side, we'll do a little ending here in just a minute. But I got to say, with the fact that there's so many expiring deals on this team, I mean, am I being a honk just like sitting here waiting for something to happen? Like, what do you think?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I'm still waiting too. There have been dominoes falling the last few minutes, so who knows? I mean, mine as well.
Seriously, I mean, and to know that he's going to be speaking to the media here in just a second. Obviously, he's off the phone. Mary Cruz Hernandez is asking, where can I watch Perry? I'm not sure it's going to be on TV, but the Angels beat writers like Sam Blum, Jeff Fletcher, Rhett Ball. Actually, no, it's Brent. It's Locked On Angels Hall of Famer Brent McGuire is going to be filling in for Rhett today. And then, of course, Michael Huntley of the Sporting Tribune. You got a good crew doing that there. So, yeah, Jose said, what happened to running the West, right? Yeah. Remember when we had a good little win streak going against AL West teams, and then that all fell apart. That was a lot of fun. So Perry, Sarah Gomez says, Perry must be straightforward or he may go down with the ship. Do you think we're going to get a lot of political GM speak like he always seems to do? What do you say?
Yes. Unfortunately. I mean, what can he possibly say that wouldn't piss off like everybody else in the front office? Like,
right.
What is he going to say? Well, what is he going to realistically say? I mean, who knows? Who knows? But
it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. Are we getting any? There were Jeff Passon said there were a lot of trades. Thank you, Jeff.
Good tweet. Solid.
And one of them involved our favorite team. It just is so beyond me that you had so many opportunities. I like this one here. Riro Senpai. Seems like the market was heavy for relief pitching and light for hitters and starters. And the Angels had all three. They had all three to deal. I know Matt Moore has not been great, but he's got a track record and he's a lefty and the stuff is good. He still rates really highly in Stuff Plus, but the fact that he's still here, Brandon Drury is not going to be a bench guy somewhere. Like we didn't even do the cash considerations thing. Like that's just absurd to me. That are we just going to end up putting these guys on the waivers like they did last year.
Oh, I don't even want to think about that.
And just watch these guys sail off into the sunset for other teams and not get anything for them. It's just crazy to me. So yeah, it's just insane. Oh, Mike M. Baum said, how do we trade brother Mike for Swilly?
No, we love Mike.
We do love
Mike. We need another trio episode.
That's right. We got to all get together for this. So
family reunion.
Yeah, exactly. Gilbert Gonzalez, I hate being an Angel fan. There was no trades. This is
I know it, Gilbert. I know.
So sad. Like there's no way we couldn't do more than one trade. Yeah. Christian Cabrera, guys, don't worry. Artie has a plan. He has unfinished business. Yeah,
you're so right.
I forgot about that part. Yes. How could I ever doubt Artie and his unfinished business? So Swilly, before we, wrap up this episode, and again, we're going to do a little bonus content after we wrap it up, but where do the Angels go from here? What do you say? What's this rest of the season look like?
Well, good question, John. I mean, from the start of the season, because I knew I was pretty confident that we weren't going to compete.
Right. Same.
And, the high points for me this season have just been seeing our young guys do really well. Like, I love seeing O'Hoppe hit the ball hard, and he's hitting 280 and he's playing almost every game. And, seeing Neto hit the ball well, seeing Shawnuel finally, like he's been getting every month he's gotten better. I love seeing that. That makes me really excited, hopefully, for the future, if there is a salvageable future ahead. So for me, as long as the young guys are succeeding, I'm happy, to be honest. And so that's me. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that kind of answers what Easton Dutton was saying here. So what do we have to watch for? I was looking forward to the future, but now what future do we have other than Christian Moore? I just don't see the point of watching anymore, which I totally understand the sentiment, but going back to what you're saying, like these young guys are finally getting somewhere. But the problem is that we've had plenty of opportunity to add pieces to the guys we already had. Like Trout and Ohtani needed a cast around them.
Yes.
And they never got that. They never got starting pitching, relief pitching. They never got the stuff they needed. And now I'm worried that we've got these young guys and they're not going to get the supporting cast around them that they needed. So it's just frustrating all around. Stick around, guys. I'm going to wrap up the show here, but stick around because we're going to keep getting to your questions. We'll see what Perry Minasian has to say. It'll be a little fast and loose and casual, not as under a timeline here. So thanks for making Locked On Angels your first listen today. For your second listen, head on over to the Locked On MLB podcast with our friend Sully. Get ready for all the deadline moves across the entire MLB. He's got you covered there. It's part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. Hey, you can give us a follow at Super Halo Bros on Twitter and Instagram, and at Locked On Angels on Twitter. Swilly, where can everybody find you?
Yeah, I'm Swilly Sports on all platforms: Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, all the things.
Uniform, Swilly Sports, everywhere you want to find her. This is fantastic. Hey, on Thursday's show, we're covering the Angels and the Rockies, and we're going to talk about what this team looks like for the rest of the season. Until then, my name is John. That's my Halo sister, Swilly, and my brother, Mike, will be back with us for tomorrow's episode. Until then, thanks for being here, everybody, and we'll see you back here on Thursday. Perfect. So we've got that out of the way. That episode will be in your podcast feeds if you want to go back and listen to it. It'll also be in the YouTube feed as well. But we really wanted to stick around, see what Perry Minasian has to say here. Looks like Sam might have he's got something here. Perry Minasian is being short in his answers. I asked him if he felt like they could compete in 2025, and he said, "We'll see." Well, you might not be here to see it in 2025, Perry. So that's kind of an interesting take, in my opinion.
We'll see is crazy. That's insane.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see.
What do you mean?
short answers. Are you kidding me?
Oh man, this hurts me. I don't understand.
Oh no, Bob Nightingale. The Angels, just as they promised, trade away players in their expiring contracts with Carlos Estévez going to the Phillies, Luis Garcia to the Red Sox. They keep starters, Tyler Anderson, and outfielder Taylor Ward. Of course, Luis Rengifo. Tons of, plenty of options out there, and they didn't have him. So Michael Huntley says Matthew Lugo is a top prospect returning to the Angels. For Luis Garcia was 17 prospect in the Red Sox organization entering the season. 4 players total in return. That's
okay.
That's pretty solid there.
I'm interested to see who they are, though. I mean,
yeah.
Well,
again, at this point, like, I'll take anything for these expiring contracts.
Yeah.
I saw a comment here that said, maybe Perry is short with his answers because he's so pissed off at Artie Moreno. Yeah.
Sam says, asked him about how much Artie played a role in their trade deadline strategy. He said he was given the autonomy to make decisions.
Really?
Which, who knows if that's actually true or not. But
yeah. Got to cover for your boss, I suppose.
Right.
If that's true, then this was a failure on Perry. Like, if that's all you were able to get done, that's insane. I can't believe what's passed up here is you saw what Kikuchi got yesterday.
Yeah.
And even if Tyler Anderson didn't get that sort of return, right? Mm-hmm. Because Kikuchi, expiring deal, he's $10 million cheaper. At this point, like, they like his stuff. He's got a harder fastball and whatnot. So maybe Tyler Anderson doesn't get the same return, but you could get something in that level of return. And I just can't believe that he's going to be here.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
Blink twice if you're being held at gunpoint by Artie, Perry.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, yeah, I don't know if I necessarily buy that, only because of Artie's track record. Like, he's never given full autonomy to any of these GMs to do anything. So why would it be true all of a sudden?
Sam said, I asked Perry Minasian if he felt the team could still compete for a playoff spot this season. Perry said, next question. I mean, it's a valid question. We're sitting here not making the moves that we need to make, as if they're going to be competitive. And that's all we heard before the season started was we're going to be competitive. We're going to be competitive, all of that. So I love this. Perry's mind. Please fire me. Please fire
me. No, seriously. Yeah, I don't blame him.
We got 4 prospects for Garcia, including Matthew Lugo. Rahul's very excited. Let's do a little digging on Matthew Lugo.
Let's do it.
Sox. Let's go. All right. Baseball Reference. That's my go-to. Shortstop, left fielder, third base. Oh, I love that. The left side of the field is everything that we need. I love that.
Literally, we have, yeah. Well, he's 23. I'm on Fangraphs.
Okay.
He's 23. He was ranked 33rd in the organization. 35 potential hit, 50 game power, 55 raw power, 55 speed, 50 fielding. Second round pick, 69th overall pick.
Okay.
In AAA this past season. Let's see. 792 OPS. He had a 1069 OPS earlier in the year in AA.
Okay, so he's working his way up.
Yeah, I mean, 23, I like his age. That's nice. He just turned 23. He's a May birthday.
Ooh, in AA, he had a 1069 OPS.
Yeah. That was earlier this year.
Yeah. 792.
With an 11.7 walk rate. I love guys that walk. I love young guys that walk. That gets me excited. That was in 43 games in in AA, 46 hits, 10 doubles, 11 home runs, 20 walks to 36 strikeouts. I don't hate that.
It's pretty dang good.
Okay.
All right.
I don't hate it.
If there's 4 players here, then where are the rest of these 3?
Where's the rest of them?
I'm not seeing them. This was there's 2 points here. Corby Bat said, I just don't understand why they didn't trade Anderson, Ward, and Renegifo. Am I missing something or what? And then there was a second one here from BD. Should have traded Anderson, Renegifo, Pilar, Ward, and Drury. So going back to Corby Bat's question, I mean, it's silly, but they talked about hanging on to Anderson because they need a body, right? They need a starting pitcher. They don't think that they're going to get a better deal than they already have for Anderson. I'm of the belief, I don't know about you, Swilly, I mean, you can answer this, but his expected numbers make me nervous.
Yeah.
And he's been so good at getting what they call dirty outs. Like you get a guy on base and then you hit the next guy into a double play. And so your numbers look great, right? But you've been putting traffic on the bases and everything like that. I feel like that's going to catch up to him. Do you?
Yeah, I mean, typically they do. Typically they do catch up at one point or another.
Eventually, yeah.
Yeah, eventually. I do think, and I was talking to one of my friends about this yesterday. I do think that Tyler Anderson is benefiting a bit from going back to a 5-man rotation. I didn't think about this until recently because last year he was in a 6-man for the first time, and maybe that was part of the reason why he struggled a bit coming away from the Dodgers. I know that he didn't have the best stuff before the Dodgers to begin with, but I do think him going back into a 5-man may have helped some of his numbers in the first place, but he still has low exit velocity, low hard hit percentage, which is good. But yeah, some of those expected numbers are not great. 4.17 expected ERA, 2.45 expected batting average. Otherwise, kind of middle of the road. I don't know. I think it is more of a body thing. Although, again, we saw what some of these other teams were able to get for starting pitching and relief pitching. So I think the asking prices were too high and nobody wanted to bite.
Yeah. Well, and when you see what these other teams were getting for starting pitching, it's like, meet in the middle somewhere. Right. So, yeah, it's just it's really frustrating. Now, the other side of the coin was, what about the Drurys and the Pilars and, these 1-year deals? That's the thing is like every 1-year deal should have moved
100%.
And I don't know what happens now, considering that, again, the dust still kind of settles for the next hour, but apparently he's talking to the media. So Perry Minasian's not making any deals at the moment. It's like, okay, are we just DFAing these guys? Like, is that going to happen? So Connor S said patio tweet. I wonder what Patrick O'Neill had to say. Let's see.
Oh boy.
What if he's disparaging of the Angels? That would be pretty funny.
That would be something.
Patrick O'Neill says, from GM Perry Minasian, and I paraphrase, he feels his team is better today than it was before the deadline. They like the players they got for Estévez and Garcia. Nothing else lined up with other teams for the players on the team with control. So that kind of goes back to, if you didn't get wowed by a Renegifo trade, then you don't have to do it, right?
Yes.
Same thing with Taylor Ward. And obviously Taylor Ward struggled for the last month. And so maybe his value wasn't nearly as high as it was back in, the beginning of June. Right.
Right.
And so, yeah, I think if the deal didn't line up, that makes sense. But evidence tells me that if the Astros are willing to give up that much for Kikuchi, like there's got to be something out there that would have worked for Tyler Anderson. And so maybe you're right. Like maybe the Angels asking price was just too much, too high. Yeah, it just seems really silly. So
yeah, that's the only thing I can think of, at least in this moment, right? Like maybe something will kind of come to me later. I don't really know. I agree with the Renegifo and the Ward. Like they still have control. They still have good potential with the organization to be, these cast members around our young core. So I get that. Like if you're not wowed, I understand. But how are you not trading a guy like Kevin Pillar, who you picked up and had no expectations for, and is going out there? And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, somebody in chat, but I'm pretty sure he has the highest OPS on the team right now, at least top 3. Like how, like that alone. And you saw Mark Canna get traded. You saw Kevin Kiermaier get traded.
Yeah.
So like those guys, like I don't get it. Like how, like that is anything that you get in return for him, because you picked Pillar up in the middle of the season.
Right.
So like anything in that regard, I don't understand. Drury, I mean, he has been not good. So
yeah, if somebody doesn't take Drury, I totally understand that, right? But like, can you get $50K for him? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like,
that's a good point.
Is even worth that much as well? Yeah, Kevin Pillar has an 853 OPS and a 135 OPS plus.
What are we doing?
The wrong Kevin got traded. Kevin Kiermaier instead of Kevin Pillar, which is funny because I always confuse those two.
Oh my gosh, I used to confuse them all the time. I do sometimes still too, but like, what are we doing?
This is interesting. So, oh man, these comments are coming fast, and so I see what I like, and then I want to put it on there, and then it's gone. But yeah, it was Matthew Lugo's the nephew of Carlos Beltran. Is that what I saw?
Really?
Yeah, let me look again. Yeah, nephew of Carlos Beltran. How about that?
Okay.
I'm all right with that.
Yeah.
Sam's got it here. This is who the Angels got back for Luis Garcia. Ryan Zephyrjohn, that's a name. Zephyrjohn. Matthew Lugo, Jefferson Vargas, and Nico Cavadas. All right. You take Nico Cavadas, and I will take Ryan Zephyrjohn.
Sam Blum tweeted that?
Yeah.
Okay, let me look up spelling.
This is fun. See. Live baseball reference, everybody.
I love this.
Oh, thanks, Rahul, for coming through with it. So I got the comment up here.
Oh, too. Beautiful. I'm gonna stick with Fangraphs though.
Yes, we get a little. Oh, okay. Zephyrjohn's a pitcher, 26. Let's see. Only minor leagues, so makes sense. Marcus. Ooh, a sub one. Oh no, you have a sub one whip in Double-A.
Okay.
It's 1.5 in Triple-A. I wonder.
Okay.
I wonder where he started this season. Did he start in Triple-A? Maybe move down the other way around. Started in Double-A, was there for 7 games, and then he's been in Triple-A the rest of the time. So let's look at his Triple-A stuff. Ryan Zephyrjohn. There's Jahn, so I don't know.
You're doing your best, and that's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
A for effort.
Okay. Well,
what positions do you play, Nico?
Not great AAA numbers. Fantastic AA numbers. Terrible AA numbers. I mean, yeah. So maybe it's just too much too soon.
Yeah.
They play in Worcester, which is Massachusetts. Okay.
Okay. So I have Nico. It looks like he is a corner infielder and some right field. He's 25th ranked in the org. He's 25 years old, October birthday. In Triple-A, 975 OPS, 281 average. He does have a high BABIP, 413, but that could just be because he's been hitting the ball so hard. Let's see. In 263 at-bats, 74 hits, 20 doubles, 17 home runs. 58 walks to 112 strikeouts. So yeah, sounds like a power guy, high strikeout, hitting the ball hard. Let's see. Higher fly ball to ground ball ratio, pull hitter. Okay.
Raul's comment, BRB gonna go do an out of the park sim with the Angels and do the deadline correctly.
Please get back to us and see how it went.
Yeah, tell us what happened when you traded everybody that should have been traded. Riptide, Garcia, Estévez, no one else. No one else, my friend, right. At least at the moment. Mama Ruffin on Twitter, she had a great point, and it was, this is what happens when your front office is small. And we all know that, there's no president of baseball ops. Like, that is Perry Minasian. He's the GM. Most clubs have a president of baseball, a general manager, multiple assistant GMs, which Perry does not have. So you almost wonder, is there enough manpower in the front office to even field calls on the people you should be fielding calls on? Like, this is another cutback that is what happens in this Angels organization. So yeah, just insane. It's crazy that they didn't move Tyler Anderson. Could have shored up a contenders rotation. BD 100% agree. Victor Rojas tweeted, oh boy.
Oh, that's a good one.
Spicy Rojas. Here we go.
Oh.
The more things change, the more they stay the same. Well said, Victor.
Very
Rojas.
Well said.
Oh my
love
goodness.
Victor. So good.
Ay. Okay, so I have Jefferson Vargas here, and he's a youngster. Get this. Are you ready to feel old?
No, but go for it.
You know what? I'm older than you, so if I gotta feel old, you gotta feel old. August 4th, 2004 was when Jefferson Vargas was born. He's 19 years old. Hey, his birthday's coming up. He'll be 20 soon. From the Dominican Republic. Nice. He's been in the Florida Complex League, and so now he is. I had it right here. Yeah, he was in the Florida Complex League. Finally moved up to some A-ball with the Red Sox. So he spent most of the time this season in the FCL, 3.13 ERA down there. And so far in the one game that he started, a 2.25 ERA. He went 4 innings, 2 hits, 2 runs. So yeah, it seems like a young guy that they can focus on and develop. Seems like what they want to go for there.
Yeah, I don't see him in Fangraphs as of yet. I don't know. Does Fangraphs, if they're only in their complex leagues, do they?
I don't know,
to, right? He's not in Fangraphs. I search his name and nothing comes up. So,
that's not fair to Jefferson.
I know, not fair at all. Or me, because I love Fangraphs for minor league players. I feel like it has a lot of good stuff. But yeah, I mean, I wish I knew a little bit more about him, but what?
Interesting thought here.
Okay.
From Locked On Everyday or Brandon. Said, I'm sure we pulled out of the Renegifo trade with Rendon going down again because they need Renegifo to play third base every day. You think there's some truth to that? What do you say?
I mean, there could be, but
I mean, that's the problem, Swilly. Like, this is the reasoning that the Angels organization has, right? Like Brent McGuire, he tweeted and said the Angels, or the overarching theme from Perry Minasian's trade deadline approach was doing what was best for the organization. And I fundamentally disagree with the fact that they did everything they could for this organization, because what's best is to plot out your future. And they're thinking of right now.
Right. I don't care who stick at third. Stick a body there. It doesn't matter. What are we competing for right now? Why does that matter?
Exactly. And so for Artie Moreno to continue to want to, we got to have Tyler Anderson there. Tyler Anderson was an all-star. Like, doesn't that just scream Artie Moreno reasoning? Like, oh my gosh, just insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. BD's right. Put anyone at third.
Right. Why does it have to be? I mean, okay, look, to be honest, I didn't want to trade Renegifo. I think that I've been a big Renegifo fan, I guess, maybe since like 2022 or so. Like, I really like him. I've liked him, even with people yelling at me that he's only a second half guy. I'm like, you have to give him a second, and he's gotten better every single year. He plays so many positions. With Ron Washington, his defense has gotten better. I didn't want to trade him. I've been on the camp of wanting to extend him this entire time. But, you know, I don't know. I don't know. There's just so many things that we could have done and we just didn't do anything. But
coulda, shoulda, woulda.
Yeah. I mean, we have, if we're not going to move some of these people, then we need to give them money for staying, or at least try.
Yeah. You could put a cardboard box at third and it would do better than Tony. Hey, you know what? I disagree with that. Tony's a good third baseman. Like,
he is a good.
He can't stay on the field. He can't stay healthy worth a dang. But you know, like,
I'll play third for them.
I've seen your videos. You could play third.
Yeah, I got soft hands. I can make it happen.
Hey, Swilly, Mike Trout had a setback in his recovery. He's being shut down from the rehab process. He's getting reevaluated today. There's no real timetable for potential return. Mike and I talked about this on our previous episode, but let's hear from you. What do you say?
Well, I'm trying to choose my words carefully here.
Yes, especially when we're talking about Trout. I totally get you.
Yeah, it's tough because if you remove Mike Trout's name and face from the equation, you have an incredible ball player that got an incredible contract and has been so hurt these last few years. And, you know, I don't think Mike Trout wants to play baseball if he's not 100% ready to play baseball. I think that his numbers, his stats, his legacy kind of at this point in his career depend on him being 100%. And maybe part of it is just him being scared, especially from last year when he rushed back and he played those games and then he got hurt again. Like he's just really gung-ho about wanting to be 100% ready to go. 90% isn't going to cut it. He wants to be 100%. I know he's a competitor and I know that he wants to go out there and be Mike Trout. But like when I heard that it was scar tissue buildup, you just go get that removed and then you're good to go. Like that's how, or you just play through it. It's scar tissue. Like that's just, you just go get it removed, and somebody like Mike Trout has access to go get scar tissue removed and then you're good to go.
Yeah.
So I
listen to a little Red Hot Chili Peppers, scar tissue. And
that's
move
right.
On.
Great song. So I don't know. I think that he just wants to be 100%, but it's like Mike Trout at 80% is better than 90% of the league. Yeah. So I think, and even that Ron Washington quote from the other day, I don't know if you saw that, but somebody was asking him about Mike and what his timeline looked like. And Ron Washington is just like, it's up to Mike. Got to ask Mike. It's all up to him. He's the one that's kind of determining whether or not he's ready to go. And I don't know. It's frustrating to say the least. It's getting old. If you put, like I said, if you take Mike Trout's name and face away from that equation, I mean, look at how angry people get at Tony Two Bags. And it's like, well,
you're right. Yeah. Cause I mean, they've played nearly the same amount of games over the last couple of years. And Mike and I talked about this yesterday, was the idea that, look, everybody says, well, how did the Angels not win with Ohtani and Trout and Rendon? Because Trout and Ohtani and Rendon didn't play together. Right. And Ohtani wasn't good until 2021. Like, he was a decent hitter and a great pitcher, but he got hurt. In 2020, he was a disaster. And he was obviously hurt. He couldn't hit, couldn't pitch. 2021, he comes back. Trout gets hurt. Rendon gets hurt. 22, Ohtani's doing it again. Trout gets hurt. Rendon gets hurt. Like, it's just so frustrating. Because these are the guys, like, especially Trout, like, I understand he wants to win, but you got to be on the field, dude. And patience is really running thin with this stuff. And look, there's no reason for him to rush back at this point. I mean, they're not going anywhere anyway, but that would only serve to help Artie, pack the stands and do more bobbleheads and give out Mike Trout gear. Right. But at the same time, like, you want to see Mike Trout play, and you want to know what his mojo is like with playing on this team with these young guys who are carrying the team as much as they can carry it right now. Like, I'm curious to see how it works, like with Trout and these young guys. I think it would be fantastic to see them all together out there.
Yes, I agree. And we haven't gotten to see much of it. I remember I calculated this on my own. Rendon, Trout, and Ohtani played 88 games together.
Wow.
In their tenure, and they went 44-44. Is that not the most Angel stat of all time? But I think another thought for me, like with Trout specifically, is like, okay, so he's been hurt pretty consistently since 2021. And when he is playing, like, yeah, he's hitting the ball hard, which is great. Like, of course, Mike Trout is going to hit the ball hard. Any big leaguer is going to hit the ball hard. I still can't believe he had 10 home runs before he got hurt. Like,
I know.
You forget that even happened.
The end of April, is that when it was?
Yeah, and I believe so. But I wonder if some of the decline that we've seen from him is because he's just not getting at bats. Like, he's just not getting at bats. Yeah. So, like, again, of course, he's going to continue to hit the ball hard, and he's going to get hits, and he's going to, make plays on the field. But I'm just wondering if him hitting low 200s, what was he hitting, like
220 right now?
220?
Yeah. You're right, because when he went into spring training, he said, I want like 100 at bats before people start saying like, something wrong with Mike Trout, because he's like, it takes 100 at bats to get into a rhythm. So
for sure. But he also just hasn't been getting, because he was playing 130 to 150 games before his contract. So like all of those consistent at bats are so important. And, these last few years, I'm curious as to how many games he's played since 2021. And it's like, has that played a part? Well, and like, think about the difference even just in pitching in general since 2020 and 2021. Like, some of these guys, like, like a Mason Miller, I mean, we don't have to face him, but like a Ben Joyce or a Jose Soriano, like Tarek Skubal, like some of these guys, the leaps that pitchers have made in the last 3 to 5 years, I feel like it's just been insane. And it's like, is he playing catch up?
Yeah. He's got to learn a whole new crew of pitchers that he's not seen. Justin Option said, I heard Renegifo and Anderson got traded to the Angels. We got Anderson and Renegifo on the Angels.
Wow, they're Halos. That's great. I'm so happy.
John, what did Perry have to tell the media? Not much. He said all reports or the answers were very short. He said he had full autonomy to do what he wanted to do. And Brent McGuire said that Perry's overarching theme was doing what was best for the organization. Obviously, we disagree because the future is not bright. Or I should say not as bright as it could have been after a day like today, where you have the opportunity to trade away everybody. I mean, honestly, like, I'm sitting here all day waiting for something to happen. And of course, the Angels come right at the deadline, like right as we begin the show. So yeah, just an insane amount of stuff here. So the trade is official. Matthew Lugo, again, Carlos Beltran's nephew, allegedly. Ryan Zephyrhan, right-handed pitcher. Nico Cavadas, infielder. Right-handed pitcher Yeverson Vargas for Luis Garcia. So 4 players for 1 relief pitcher. It just makes you wonder what could have been. What could have been. That's let's see. We're at an hour here. I think it's time to leave it on that note, Swilly. What could have been, right?
What could have been. I know it. I am happy with that haul, but I would have loved to have seen it 2 or 3 more times. That would have been cool.
Seriously, because 4 players for 1, and you think 2 to 4 for any number of the guys. Hunter Strickland. We didn't even talk about Hunter Strickland. Like having a career renaissance. Wanted to retire before the season starts. Sorry, I'm getting into another conversation topic here, but like, how is he not on the trade block. Like, what are we doing here? Oh my gosh.
I don't know.
They just need to hire us and Mike, and we'll fix this team.
Let's do it. Honestly,
we don't have the qualifications, but they seem to be okay with that because they always hire first year general managers. So there you go.
Yeah. Give us a shot. Why not?
You play out of the park baseball, don't you?
Yeah. I love out of the park baseball.
I've never given it a try, and I'm afraid to because I feel like I would put way too much time into it.
You would love it.
Yeah, maybe someday.
You would love it.
Yeah. All right, friends. Thank you so much for being here with us. Swilly, thank you for jumping on and filling in Mike's stead. Mike had to do his what he calls his real job when he's at work. And so yeah, there you go. But yes, we will have this up on YouTube. Obviously, we'll have an audio version. We'll take what we did here at the end, maybe do a little bonus content for you. But thank you for making this live so spectacular. We're up to 300 on here and back to the 244 who are still here. Thank you for being with us, and we will see you next time.